Welcome to Joshua Tree National Park. So I'm out here with my brother and we hiked up this beautiful rock formation to get some views of the valley here in Joshua Tree, and they're absolutely stunning. You can see for quite a ways off, and it's really beautiful. Look at that. You can see forever. The mountains are gorgeous. It's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon and right in the heat of the day, so we're just climbing around having some fun. If you're climbing, you definitely want to watch your step because there's rattlesnakes in this park and you don't want to get surprised. Look, you can see our car all the way over there. Just a little tiny dot. All right, so my brother and I were hiking through the rocks and we were about to take a thumbnail photo, and all of a sudden we come across this rattlesnake. He's huge. He's like at least 3 or 4 feet. He's curled up under a rock here. It's really cool. Check him out. Look at him. He's just chilling there under the rock. He's on this side of the rock. All right, my brother and I are gonna hike down now. If you come to Joshua Tree Park, there's plenty of sites to see, that are officially marked on the map, but you want to be sure to also kind of get off the trail a little bit, hike around and see some of the sites that not everybody is able to see when they come to Joshua Tree. There are plenty of places to pull over on the side of the road and just go out hiking in the desert. It's really fun, and it's definitely worth doing if you come out here. The next place on our list to go is Ryan Mountain. We're hiking up that right now. It's approximately 1.5 miles there and back. It's apparently one of the highest points in Joshua Tree National Park, so it'll be an awesome place to view the sunset and just get a good glimpse of the valleys here in the park. So we're on our way. Look at those rocks over there. Absolutely gorgeous as the sun falls below the mountains. All right, so we made it up Ryan Mountain. We didn't go all the way, but we're about 3/4 of the way there. And we climbed up the hill a little bit, and we're just gonna sit here and watch the sunset. It's gorgeous. It's stunning out here. I have seen few sunsets as beautiful as the one behind me. I forgot to bring a flashlight, so we're hiking back just as the sun's going down. We're coming off of Ryan Mountain, walking down the trail here. The sunset is still glowing in the distance, and it's beautiful. Hopefully we can get back in time before it gets too dark. One thing I've learned at Joshua Tree National Park is that not just the Cholla cactuses are spiky. Everything here seems to be spiky. All the desert plants have little thorns on them, and you want to be careful not to touch anything as you're walking because you will get scraped and it hurts just a little bit. All right, it is day 2 here and we are at Wall Street Mill. We are starting our day with a nice hike. Wall Street Mill is just off of where Barker Dam is. You have to take a right off the road from Barker Dam, and you follow this dirt path down to, right now, at least an empty parking lot. We're the only ones here. We're the only ones hiking the Wall Street Mill, so it should be pretty cool. We had to put on extra sunblock today because we didn't put enough on yesterday, and needless to say, I got a little sunburnt on my arms and neck. So we made sure to put on extra today because it's something like 96 degrees outside, and in the desert there's no cover. So we're out here hiking this dirt trail out in the open, and the sun is ablazing. The Wall Street Mill trail starts off pretty cool. There's a ton of Joshua trees surrounding the trail, and you're hiking on kind of a sandy path. I'm not sure if the park itself has put this sand down on the trails or if it's natural, but either way, it's a nice hike. Look at that. That's a cool windmill. It's probably about 100 years old. Right behind me at this stone is a spot where two guys got in a shootout in the 40s over a land dispute. One guy died. The other guy got convicted of manslaughter. I guess it's like that sometimes. All right, we made it to Wall Street Mine. It's pretty cool up here. There's some old cars that are partially buried in the ground because they've been sitting here since the early 1930s or 40s. And behind me you can see the mill. It's covered by a fence, so we can't get too close, but you can appreciate it from the sidelines. It's really nice. You can see how things were back in the early 1900s as far as mining out here. It's good that there's a fence around the mines because apparently people have vandalized some of the sites here in the park in the past, which have caused the park to either put in replicas or get rid of the site or block it off completely. So it's good that there's a fence. That way nobody can go in and vandalize the sites, and it's there for everyone to see in the future. All right, so we're out here hiking in the desert. We took a trail that's a little off the path, and we saw this guy coming across. That is the coolest thing ever. Look at how big he is. Look at his tail. Goes all the way down. He's at least a foot long. That's crazy. Well, that's one cool lizard down here in the park. We've seen a few racers, but we haven't caught any. This guy is the coolest. He's pretty awesome. He's got a bunch of like freckles on his back. All right, that's +1 for Joshua Tree. On that same trail that we caught that lizard on, we continued down that trail and we found this old abandoned building. I don't know when it was built. There's no signs or markers of any kind, but it's fallen apart here in the background. It's really cool. It must have been one of the miners' houses or something like that. It's interesting because it looks like it was about 3,000 square feet. It looks huge. It's got a fire pit. Only a few walls are standing. They have a chimney over there, or some kind of other fire pit. It's really interesting. Definitely go off the beaten path a little bit if you're here in Joshua, because you come across sites like this that are interesting and that are not on the map. Well, Wall Street Mine was a cool hike. We saw a lizard, we saw an abandoned building, we saw the mine itself and some old abandoned cars. It was a pretty easy walk. It's only about a mile round trip. That's one thing that I like about Joshua Tree. A lot of the sites are a half mile or a mile round trip. There are very few long hikes in the park, maybe 4 or 5 miles at the most. But otherwise, they're all pretty easy walks if you can stand the heat. All right, we're on to the next site, Arch Rock. All right, fun fact. We've now been lost twice looking for Arch Rock. The first time was last night. We hiked out here, we stopped in the parking lot, and then we went off towards Arch Rock following the signs, getting some night photography in, but we couldn't find it. We got some awesome shots of the stars, but we couldn't find Arch Rock. And then we came out today during the day looking for it, and we just hiked about a mile that way, and about a mile back, and we're like, Arch Rock isn't supposed to be this far away. Well, that's because Arch Rock is that way, and according to the sign that is posted, it's about 1/4 of a mile that way. Good reminder. Always carefully read the signs when you're out in the desert, otherwise you might end up hiking a little farther than you should. This is a good sign. We're almost there. We finally made it to Arch Rock. It took a little finding, but we're here. It's beautiful. Well, we were finally able to find Arch Rock. It took a little work, but it was pretty cool. It was surrounded by other rocks. I thought it was more in the open, but it's still pretty cool. It's surrounded by a bunch of other cool rock structures. It's really nice if you come to Joshua Tree National Park. It's an easy hike once you get on the right path and you don't get lost. So I definitely recommend coming if you come to Joshua Tree and check it out. Well, it's about 1:30. We're back in the parking lot, and we want to miss the heat of the day, so we're gonna go take a break and grab something to eat.
Alright, that barbecue sauce will be right back.
Thank you. Our next stop is Keys View. On the way up, you can see a bunch of different rock formations. It's very rocky. So if you want to get off trail and go hunting for lizards or snakes and looking around for that kind of stuff, that's definitely the place to come on your way to Keys View. All right, if you're looking for one of the best views inside of Joshua Tree, you're going to want to come to Keys View. It offers one of the most expansive views of the park and is absolutely beautiful. You can see for miles up here. You can see the mountains off in the distance, the valley, some of the Joshua trees around. It's a fantastic view, and I definitely recommend coming here if you're planning on coming to Joshua Tree. You can drive almost all the way up. It's like a short 1-minute hike to get to the top where you can view over the valley. It's spectacular and definitely worth coming if you're coming to Joshua Tree. So we made it to Cholla Gardens. Behind me are hundreds of Cholla cactuses, and the sun's going down to my left right here. So all the plants are beginning to glow, and it's absolutely beautiful. You do have to be careful when walking around here because the Cholla cactus, the roots on the cactus don't go very deep. So the pricks will prick you very easily. And what nobody tells you is if you get pricked, and say in your shoe or something like that, if you try to pull it out, it'll leave small splinters in your hand and your fingers, which are also painful. So use a napkin or something to pull out the cactus if you get stung or if it gets stuck to any of your clothes, because it will be a little discomforting. Getting to the Cactus Gardens is interesting because as you drive through the park, before you get to Cholla Gardens, you drive through an open valley with almost no Joshua trees. And then all of a sudden you come around the corner, and for almost as far as you can see, there's tons of Cholla cactuses, and it's beautiful. So we're driving out of Joshua Tree National Park, and on the road I see something, and I think it's a snake. So I turn around and we find a rosy boa. I've never ever in my life seen one of these snakes in the wild. These are incredibly hard to find, and this thing is absolutely beautiful. This guy is so cool. Look at how beautiful he is. That is definitely one for the books. Alright, it is my last day here in Joshua Tree National Park. This trip has been an absolute blast. I have loved every minute of it. I was able to see some of the main sights in the park, and I was also lucky enough to see some wildlife. I saw 2 coyotes while night driving, and saw 2 rattlesnakes. Was able to catch a rosy boa. The rest of today I'm going to be doing some rock climbing on some of the beautiful rock structures behind me. If you like this video, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. And I'll see you on the next adventure. All right, until next time.